Hello. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear
Yes.
you. Hello, Cat.
All right. Awesome.
Where's Phil?
Well, it's 9 o'clock, so you know he's not going to be here for a little bit.
What do you want, Cat? Stop.
It's on time,
no.
Victor, so he has to be a few minutes late.
That's right. That's right. Let me fix my camera real quick. What's happening? What's been going on?
Nothing, man. Just still recovering from Tinley. Trying to get everything back to normal.
How'd that go?
Trying to do it all in pieces and stuff. It went good. The drive wasn't too bad. I just still feel like I'm playing catch up in the snake room, you know?
Yeah. There he is.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Am I louder or quieter than normal?
Yep.
About the same, if maybe a little quieter, but nothing.
A little quieter. What if
out
I
of the
said like
norm.
this? Is this too far away now?
No.
Okay. I have
Oh, you're
an actual microphone now.
Oh.
But I didn't realize how small this stand was, so I have no idea where I'm supposed to put this thing now. So we're improvising. Yes.
You sound fine.
Well, good. Glad to hear it. You guys sound fine too. So tell me I'm not 7 minutes and 40 seconds actually late.
Oh yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Impossible.
I mean, as Bill said, you have a reputation to uphold. So
I do, Bill. That I do. And to be honest, no one realized this reputation until I was legitimately late to his show. And it's like I have very, very few podcast regrets. But that one, oof, I do regret that. Not doing the show, being late. Excuse me.
yeah.
The show was awesome. I loved it.
You can't regret it if you do it every show.
There's always got to be some element of suspense.
And to think it was my idea to bring you on tonight.
You knew what you were doing.
Nice. Oh man, is that an orange logo?
Especially after that story.
First of all, is that an orange Uwabami logo hat? Or is it like a peach color?
I know it's the brown one.
Oh, it's the brown one?
It's the brown one I've been wearing all the time.
Cool. Okay. I didn't know if it was a new color.
Yeah, the lighting in here is weird. Yeah.
But yeah, I was really happy with the story. I text Justin.
I could make one.
Well, we should. I text Justin like 4 hours ago. I was like, yo, send me a picture of Billy eating a sandwich or something. I'm going to superimpose a book in his mouth. And it didn't.
I had nothing to do with it. It's not what he told me. He just said, send me a picture of Billy eating. And I blindly followed him.
You know what? You did have something to do with it because you have a bank of those pictures in your phone.
That's true.
You're just as guilty.
Very, very true.
No comment. But welcome, everybody.
I got some of Smitty, too.
95 of Snakes and Stogies. Brought to you by Puget Sound Pythons. If you look in the corner to my right, but I think it's actually left on the screen, that's their logo, and that's them. They're probably here in the chat, but please check them out. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. Yeah, it's nice and cool finally. My hoodie's on. My new ASF hoodie, which, speaking of, before I forget, we started a raffle in the Snakes and Stogies group. There's 3 prizes that I put together. So there's 3 chances to win. All the rules and stuff are in there. Basically, you can buy up to 3 slots. There's 30 slots total. A couple cigars, cigar cases, another thing of cigars, cigar cases, and then a 5-pack and an ashtray kind of thing. So all of that's going to be benefiting ASF.
Let me. It's posted in the Snakes and Stogies Facebook group, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to pull up a photo of it real quick. That way people can see the goods. All right. So here is the package. So there you go.
Yeah. So first prize is, I think, 5 cigars and then a 10-count case. Second prize is 4 Roman Craft and a 5-count case, and then the 5-pack and the ashtray. Like I said, in the rules, I do have it so that if you end up winning and you don't need another case, then I will let you either you can get cigars of equal or lesser value of that than of the case price, basically. So, yeah. So that way, if you're one of these people like me who has like 4 different travel cases and needs another one, like they need a hole in the head, you can say, "Hey, I don't need that, but I will take some more cigars, and I will oblige." So,
awesome possum. And
all first puppy snake bite topic.
Yeah, and I was just going to touch base on that. Like,
Good stuff.
There's very few. We on THM we support a lot of organizations, and I think our main one that we really love is ASF, because not only is a bunch of great people doing great things for snakes and reptiles in general, and for humans as well, in areas where snakes and humans come in contact all too often. They really show you what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that has a greater impact, because you know that the donations are going to a legitimate cause. You know that they're actually putting it to good use. And it doesn't matter how much money we can get them or donate to them, because every single penny is infinitely more valuable over there than it is here. And I feel like people, lose sight of that. And I mean, what did Brent say? That I think $60 US gets them like 3 tanks of gas and like feeds an entire crew for a week, something like that.
Something
like
those
that.
lines.
So
basically, knowing the value of your dollar in donation with that organization makes a huge difference. And I really think a lot of other, organizations similar, at least in conservation, stuff like that, should do something similar, to where maybe, because I know, like, for me, I have no issues donating. It's just like when I feel like I don't know how much $25 takes, what that does. Like, I don't know if that's a drop in the bucket or if that helps immensely like it does with ASF. So, knowing that and talking to Brent and knowing that even if it's a smaller amount, like, it still makes a big difference. So,
sure.
Pretty much sold on making raffles and stuff for ASF regularly. And
yeah.
So
and
check it out. At some point, we'll have some snakes on there, not just cigars for you non-cigar smoking people that are just for the snakes. So
yeah. And we're gonna do some snake-related raffles as well. Some Get Hooked, Venom Life gear stuff. So definitely keep an eye peeled for that. And don't forget about our promo code for Venom Life gear. It's 10% off anything in the store with, I think it's THP, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So, and the best part about that is
the code.
Yeah, promo code THP, get you 10% off anything in the store on the website. But the thing that people forget is that it doesn't matter whether you use the promo code or not. Every dollar that you spend, an additional 10% of that money goes directly to the ASF. So not only are you getting a discount with the promo code, but you're still contributing to ASF 10%. So it's an awesome program.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely want to see if we can get a hold of some of the folks there and do a show with them or something.
Yeah, 100%.
I know we've talked about it in the past, but it'd be awesome to make that happen. Just because, that's something that I know you're very interested in, Phil. I'm very interested in. Like snakebite is something that I'm always interested to read about. So, yeah. So you go on the Facebook group, choose which numbered spots you want. I've been keeping up with it. There hasn't been a ton of raffle buys yet. And we're going to do a drawing on the 25th. So next show, we'll go ahead and get out the old bingo ball roller thing and pick a winner. So
I love it. So on to more present business. What are we smoking tonight?
I have just lit up a Arturo Fuente Queen Bee. It was the last one on the shelf of the shop, so I said I'll give it a good home.
Excellent. Can you guys hear that airplane or no?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, but it's not like loud because it's really loud by me. So I'm just making sure this new microphone's working.
It's there. It's not like overbearing or anything.
Cool beans.
Sounds like a giant mosquito. What are you smoking?
I am smoking I have no idea where I got this from. It's a Romeo y Julieta, model 1875, but there's nothing on it. It's a little stubby. Actually, you know what? Let me stop the screen share because that's smart. And I have no idea where it came from, but that's what we're smoking. It smells pretty. It has a very peanut butter aroma.
Looks like that might be the Cuban, like a legit Cuban Romeo. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, their bands seem a little more dated with their Cuban stuff than like the ones we have here and the Dominican stuff. I don't know. It might.
Please forgive my dirty fingernails. I'm not sure. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about what the leaf is or
doesn't say Havana on it or anything.
It doesn't. So who knows? We're gonna light it up right now.
Do it.
Billy, what are you drinking tonight?
Jack and ginger. Nothing exciting.
Nice. Which Jack and which ginger? Billy? No.
Yeah.
So you pour out half the ginger.
Just regular Jack and some Schweppes.
Some Schweppes. I love it. I feel like you have to say Schweppes with a Schwepp. You know what I mean?
Schweppes. It's fun to say. It's like Cool Whip. You got to say it like that every time.
You have to say it like Stewie. You have to say,
yes, I like some Cool Whip. Some whipped cream, yes.
That's it.
I'm sorry, I'm getting these raffle names put in. Trying to.
People jumping in right now.
Yeah.
Love it. So I don't know if you guys remember, but I guess was it 2 weeks ago we talked about toasting the cigar?
Probably.
Okay. So, and we also talked about burn rate and scorching the tobacco too much, burning the tobacco. So I lit this cigar like normal, but for whatever reason, and maybe Justin can help me out on this one. Look at how this thing lit. I rolled it and I drew it appropriately, but look at how this thing lit. Like, Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I mean, it could have just been that little bit on the bottom was slightly more moist or whatever than another part of it. 7 and 23.
But it is good to have my sense of smell and taste fully back.
Yeah.
It was actually shocking because some individuals, it was a little bit shocking. Some of the individuals in my place of employment had relieved themselves, and I was unaware of it for quite some time. And all of a sudden, it was like, whoa, hey, how's it going? So, yeah. That's how I figured out it was back. How many people were jumping in on the raffle?
Let me see. We have 11 of 30 slots.
Nice. That's good. Get in there, folks. Get in there. It's all to a good cause regardless. Billy, what are you doing, sir?
Freak.
I'm getting stuff ready.
He's getting his books ready. So this is another edition of the Dorothy Lapis School for Kids Who Can't Read Good.
Or as much as I love that name, I prefer to call it. I just like Billy's Book Club. I don't know. I feel like it just rolls off.
You have your name, I have mine.
That's fine.
I think you just like making the graphic.
I was waiting to do that for so long. I was like, man, we really need to do a Billy's Book Club. And I think maybe next time we do this, we'll do Dorothy Lapis's School for Kids Who Can't Read Good.
Dorothy Lapis's Special Kids Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Just teach them how to handle cobras and shoot weapons.
Yes. Indubitably.
Yeah, Billy, how was Tinley? Like, as far as, did you actually walk around? Like, how was the selection in comparison to Daytona?
So Tinley is bigger than Daytona. I only got to walk around Friday. Like, it was pretty busy. It's hard to compare the two. They're two completely different beasts. They're both fantastic shows. You get to see a lot of the stuff that we can't see here in Florida. Like, I saw some massive retics, and I haven't seen like a really big retic in a while. And I mean, like, they were thicker than my leg, just snakes like that. A lot of scrubs. Scrubs were represented pretty well. And it's just one thing I like is going to different regions and seeing the different local breeders that are there, because I see all the local guys here all the time. So it's just always good to see a different variety, and people focus on different things and all that. I ended up, because you guys know me, I can't go to a show and not get something. I decided to get back into Japanese rat snakes. I ended up with two normals and an albino. So really excited about that.
Yeah, you've been wanting to get back into those.
What was funny is I actually got the albino from the Zirkles, and I had sold them. Was it?
So you've been wanting to get back into those for a while.
Yeah, that was really cool. So what ended up happening was I sold my adults albinos, or they're almost adults, a couple goes to the Zirkles. So I didn't ask, but I'm like, man, I might have got a baby from the pair I sold them, or one of the animals I sold them. So it's just funny how that works out. But they had one in the tub that was like really light and white. So the cool thing about the albino Japanese rats, so I've told Phil 100 times, there's actually a wild population in Japan that the government have protected, since the 1920s, and they're really white. So the albinos we usually see in the hobby have a lot of orange on them because they've been crossed with the Kunisher Island variety, so that gives them more color. So when I saw that one that was, like super white, like the wild type ones are, out there, which it's all the same stuff genetically, it's just, just a different look. But I wasn't gonna get albinos, and I saw that one, and it's here now. So
that is super
and then
amazing.
I got
because,
yeah.
No, I was gonna say since the 1920s, so it's safe to say that there's none of those wild albino bloodline in any of the pet trade.
Well, it came from somewhere.
I don't think it's completely,
but it's probably so diluted.
I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibilities.
No, but I mean, it's just one up out of those couple clutches that they had that just had that look. I was looking for a male, and they just had so much orange on them. And obviously, some people are looking for the more orange stuff. And when I saw one that was really light and had a lot more white on it, it was a no-brainer for me. So, just excited. They're really cool snakes. They're honestly, I don't know why I ever got out of them. When I had them, they're like my favorite rat snake. So I have high hopes for these guys again. And I plan on getting a pretty decent sized group of them, making them a pretty big focus of my colubrid stuff.
They're just the Asian bears.
I'd buy that.
I think they're awesome.
I'd put them in the same realm as them.
I don't know.
I saw plenty of beards there. Well, not plenty, but I saw some beards.
Yeah. I think my internet's been really squirrely lately, so there's a delay somewhere. But
yeah, I got a delay too.
The more like hypo bears and stuff I see, I really think there's a pretty serious, maybe not serious, but a large amount of diversity there, because I've noticed there's some that have more almost like a translucent sort of look as babies, and then I have some that are they got almost like this heavier sort of speckling. It's hard to explain, and it's kind of something I'd have to show pictures of. But the more hypos and stuff I see in bears, the more I wonder just how much different sort of bloodlines of that is kind of floating around. Not bloodlines in the official sense, but varieties.
Yeah, there's definitely a delay, but I agree with you.
Is it a delay on my end, or is it a delay on y'all's end?
I don't know. Yours is a little delayed, and then Billy, it seems like he's not hearing us fast enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna back out and come back in.
All right.
Be back in a sec.
I hope it doesn't have anything to do with this stupid new microphone.
No, it's like I said, my internet connection, for whatever reason, I did, because CenturyLink has a little speed test thing on it, so you can see what your speed is, and my speed is like just under 10 megabytes per second, and it seems way slower the last 2 weeks than it's ever been. And so I messaged them, and they were like, "That's what you're paying for." And I was like, "This ain't the same internet that I've had, man. I'm not going crazy." So might be switching companies here soon, because something seems off. I feel like they kind of throttled it a little bit, but
I get it. I'm actually doing a speed test right now on mine, and I've actually never done it out because I'm outside, and I'm on the other side of this wall right next to me is the router, so we'll see how well this connects.
he's back.
See if that works. I made it.
You made it.
Yeah, so it's book club time again. I don't have a ton of books because I think we've done a handful of these now, and I don't have a massive herp library to begin with. So for the sake of making sure I'm not doing the same books over again, I picked some that I'm fairly certain I have not talked about. So
Excellent. I in my haste to get on the show, I left them inside, so I'm gonna have to go grab them anyway, and I'm gonna destroy by mosquitoes, so I gotta grab my thermocell. But who wants to kick it off?
I can, I guess. I'll
Go for it.
Jump on that grenade.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the first one off the top of the stack, and this is in no real particular order, but The Art of Keeping Snakes. feel like this may have been talked about previously.
Ooh, old one.
By someone. Yeah. All the ones I have today are pretty old. By Philippe de Vosjoli. Is that how you pronounce his last name? So this is from the old Advanced Vivarium Systems line of books, and this basically is just keeping snakes. It talks about vivariums, setting them up. It talks about some diseases, talks about breeding, handling. It's more or less meant to be, I think, kind of a guide for people who are sort of getting into snakes and they sort of want the crash course of like the gamut of everything. It's a book I read a lot as a kid. This is one I flipped through a good bit. And then this is actually, there's a random picture of some anery corn snake in the back of it.
Nice.
But this was the book that sort of originally piqued a slight interest in Neurodia because he talks about setting up a Neurodia tank. Which as a kid, I thought that was interesting because it was like, nobody's really keeping those things. So it's cool. It's
I was going to say he talks in depth about setting those up.
Yeah, there's even like a whole section on different plants and stuff for Varia that work good or work well. And hide shelving, talks about different kinds of woods. It covers a lot. I mean, I don't think it covers anything in depth on any like super serious level, but for sort of a good, like I said, good crash course, this is still a book that I'm sure has plenty of relevant information in it, and I'm sure there's some that's outdated, but it's still a good little book to have around.
Absolutely.
Vogile is what Bill said. Fragile.
All right. I wish I could say I'd remember that, but I probably won't.
He even has black racers in here. What a lunatic. What kind of psychopath puts those on there? Huh. Yeah, so that's number one.
Yeah, that was one of the first books I really dug into. You know, when I was first starting out and stuff. It, like you said, it has all the basics and stuff, so it's definitely a good one.
What do you got?
So, to start off, I actually just got these in today, so they're still in the shrink wrap. I just wanted to show how excited I was. I got the Bert Langerwerf books.
Nice.
Lizard Man and all that. Yeah, so cool story. I actually I ordered this a few months back and I never received them. And it wasn't until Cox in the group was like, Billy, you ever get those books? I'm like, actually, no, I didn't. I forgot I ordered them. And saw them in Tinley, and Jason's buddies with Russ, who was selling this, and put in a good word for me, and I ended up getting them like right away. So really excited to dig into this and mess with what these books have to say. I remember Daytona when I was first getting into the hobby, seeing Bert's setup and the Aussie water dragons and all the stuff that he had, and getting on agamainternational.com and seeing his outside enclosures. And I just thought it was so cool how he had those animals outside year round, in Alabama. And, if you knew then what you know now, I would have got all those $50 Australian water dragons, And I know I brought it up before, but it still is just one of those things like, man, I really wish I would have jumped into that and really headers. But yeah, Bill, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to get into that one. He's only a guy that did a lot for the hobby, and it's going to be really awesome to dig into the history of him. So I just wanted to highlight that and show how excited I was about it.
Isn't one of those about like
so
a
my first book,
biography, and then the other one is something else?
yeah, I'll tell you right now. So the one is Life and Adventures, and the other one just says the articles.
Oh, that's
So
right.
yeah, it seems like one is like it's still in the shrink wrap. Like I haven't gotten into it at all, but give me some time. I'll get into it. But, yeah, of course, I geek out about like the history part of the hobby and stuff. It's really cool to see, how things used to be, what used to work. It's crazy how much stuff used to work will still work. Just for whatever reason it gets outdated or whatever. If you can use old ideas and modernize them, to a point, still use them, I think a lot of people could be successful if they, just looked into what used to work back in the day. Because if it worked then, it'll work now. It's the same animals. But. Back with us, Phil?
You're muted.
Maybe.
Now I'm back with you. So,
hey, there he is.
Yeah, there's definitely a delay on Billy's end. That's for sure.
It's fine with me now.
Okay. I went to go get the books from inside. Ooh, sealed in the wrapper. Very nice, Billy Hunt.
I just got home from work like an hour and a half ago, and they were waiting on the counter for me.
Nice. Very cool, man. I love that when that happens. That's the best. But I was saying is I just went inside to get my books and get my thermocell because I'm getting destroyed by mosquitoes and the thing's dead. But because I have the greatest girlfriend in the world, she bought a spare thermocell with extended strips for longer life and power, specifically for when we go herping together. So I ran to the car and I got that. So thank you, Anna Maria, my love. You're saving my ankles as we speak.
Very subtle, Phil.
Yeah, I know, right? Very, very subtle. So, and Billy, those are the two that you just spoke about?
I was just showing those off and kind of wasting time until you got back.
All right.
But I can do my
actual.
You want me to?
Yeah, do your next book.
All right, so I have a lot of field guide stuff that I brought today. I usually do species specific stuff. You guys hear me ramble in the group a lot. You've heard me talk a lot. So you actually pointed this book out in Daytona for me, Phil, and I was like, oh, I already got it. But I'm really getting into, or I really like, Japan. That seems to be my jam for the reason. Going along with the Japanese snakes and stuff. Yeah. Who would have thought, right? I know. Sorry to drop that bomb on you guys, but there it is. It's really cool going into all the different species that are there, and something I've always thought was really interesting, that if you go through a book that has a whole bunch of old world animals, you'll almost find animals that compare to stuff that's over here, you'll see stuff that looks like corn snakes. They'll have the same body type and structure and pattern and colors and all that.
Right, the same way that we talk
honestly,
about
maybe Japanese. Good.
No, it's in the same way that we always say birds are the bredli of North America. We compare the home turf critters to the exotics.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, one thing I think is cool about this book is that it breaks every species into their range, and they break Japan into 4 different groups, as far as sections, and then they'll show you where they're from and all that, and all the different islands and all that, which is really cool. I mean, because before I got into this book, I never really dove too deep into the fauna besides the ones that I knew of already. But like you guys know, like I really like Carinata, and there's a subspecies in Japan, and that same subspecies is in Taiwan as well. So just seeing the natural history of those guys and all that, of course, that really gets me going. Which book series? It's old Krieger book.
Billy, can you throw up the book again? There you go.
It's actually cool is that my local it's cool because I got this book from my local herpetological society. They just had a whole bunch of old books on their table, and like every show I go and see what they have, and usually get some cool stuff. So.
Awesome.
But I mean, as far as keeping and stuff, it's not real heavy on that stuff. It's just more, hey, these are the species that are there. This is the area they come from. Here's some real brief, note about the species and behaviors and stuff, and on to the next one. So, if you're into the fauna in Japan, highly recommend it. It's an easy read, really cool, and it's different from what it's different from a lot of other books.
Yeah, I feel like so many people don't realize what a diverse array of reptiles are on the Japanese Isles. I mean, from Ryukyu, or however you pronounce it, and the Okinawan species and mainland stuff. Awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a shame that we don't have more of those species, represented.
I think a lot of people assume that it's all super developed. They think just like New York, the state of New York, everyone thinks it's just New York City. Same thing with like Tokyo over there.
Yeah, they see all the crazy neon and the mass hordes of people crossing the intersection in Tokyo, not realizing that several miles away are rolling lush green hills and mountainscapes.
They do have cool species, though. The habus.
Oh yeah. There's a toad there. I forget the name of it.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff. I found some stuff.
Why aren't we going there?
Yeah, do people herp
what are we
Japan
doing?
enough? I know. Miguel wants to go.
Oh, Japan's definitely just a trip that I want to take, just, animal-wise, culture-wise, food-wise. Like, it would just be really cool just to go over there.
Oh, yeah.
Just like Kill Bill, we can reenact the sword making and the,
Yeah. We'll just tell them that we have really big rats.
There's a cool frog.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that thing. Stellar. Dude, and like, just talking about Kill Bill, Sonny Chiba did such a great... Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
What's that thing called?
It is the Japanese stream toad.
Here, I'm gonna make you full screen.
Watch it live on Twitch Thursday nights at 8. No, that one.
Can you read that?
Yeah, we can see it. Yep. Show us the picture more.
Okay. Yeah,
that's
that
sweet
thing
tribal
looks like
tattoo.
a beast, man.
I know, right? That's an amphibian I would actually try and keep. That thing's awesome.
Thank you, Ana Maria.
It's a 90s. It's a 90s frog.
Very cool.
Hmm.
I feel like that's a villain that the
Arms
Teenage
getting
Mutant Turtles would fight.
Yeah.
Oh, how could I forget about that? Yeah, Mike
Look at
says
that.
Japanese giant salamander. What is that?
They have those?
It's a coral snake.
Is it? I thought that was a bamboo rat. Oh my god.
What's the scientific name?
That's a freaking
Just what it looks
pork
like. Let's see if I don't know if you can read it or not. I'm not good with saying scientific names.
Sinomicrurus japonicus. Very cool.
Yeah, it looks just like a
Googling.
freaking
Bamboo.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Does. Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show, like, I could go through this book the whole freaking episode and find cool stuff.
I love it.
Which I did. Of course, I looked.
Japonicus.
You know, I started Googling stuff.
Oh, I think I have seen those before. Yeah, those are weird looking, man.
It's pretty nifty. I didn't know that there was elapids
Trying to
in
find.
the Japanese Isles.
We need to find a bite report.
We do. Most definitely.
Venomous snakes of Okinawa.
What's interesting is I did a fair bit of homework on the Japanese venomous when I was doing the narration for the Field Herbing podcast. And look at that salamander. Yeah. And I didn't even come across that at all. I think maybe it was
There you go, Mike.
specifically looking at Mamushi. Very cool.
Yeah, just digging into the herptofauna over there it's crazy because, like, there's so much, at least as far as I know, that, you know, you don't know about, you know, the species and stuff. So it's cool if it's just cool seeing it. So it's like brandies, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Very cool.
Phil, what's your book?
So,
Pick her up, Phil.
my first book was actually a gift from one of the greatest poop faces I know. And that was the one, the only Mr. Nipper Reed.
Hey.
Snakes of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. And I don't know if this was specifically like, Phil, I know you'll love this book kind of gift, or if it was like, Phil, I keep telling you about this book and I know you're never going to buy it, so I might as well just send it to you. But it's by Philip Gentz, and it's a field guide. It's a straight up field guide. So it's going in line with what, you know, Billy was showing off. But if you notice, they color code, well, maybe if I can do this, they color code the binding, right? So it'll help you get to what you really want to see. It's small enough that you could put it in luggage or whatever, but it's super duper thick because they just crammed as much as they can. If it's European, Near Eastern, or just Mediterranean as a whole, it's in this book. Actually, I kind of broke the binding on the Telescopus section, just because I've been on a Telescopus kick lately. But let me see if I can get that.
We did actually get a comment on our last episode that said people like this individual wanted to hear more about Telescopus and that we need to cover them more.
Oh, excellent.
Which I think is an awesome idea.
I'm 100%.
We can make that next week. We can do a whole Boiga Telescopus toxicodryas.
I'm in.
thing. We can go over that
100%.
phylogenetic tree, all that good stuff.
Yes, absolutely. So here is the Tripoli Cat Snake, which photos
Is that the one
are
that
just...
Glenn Brooks is doing stuff with?
Is he really?
Ooh, that's really cool.
I think so.
So let me
It's
try
a
and
species that looks very similar.
yeah,
Let me look it up.
look at that head. And then they do the stereotypical little map and everything else and fun facts. And here's the excuse me. Here's the Egyptian obtusus, which is what I just got. If I can see where the hell the page is. And like it even shows if you go back a couple pages from Telescopus, the infamous California king snake, because there is invasive populations. So,
What's the genus on that one
That's cool.
that I said Glenn might be doing something with?
that's the newest one. That's the Tripoli. They call them the I always butcher this name. It's Tripoli. Hold on. What the hell is it? Tripolitanus.
Okay, that's not the same. This is the spotted whip snake, which is Hemorrhois ravergiri.
Hemorrhois. It's not Herophis or Heropis.
Hemorrhois is the genus, and he's saying they're endemic to Western Asia, Central Asia, and South Central Asia. So
Okay, I don't know. If
maybe in the
that'll
wrong
be
part of the
in
world,
here.
but they look very similar with that black head.
What was the species name?
Ravergiri, Ravergieri.
Ravigiri. Yep, it's in here. Wow, that's really cool looking.
Yeah, Glenn's been breeding those at Glenn Reptiles.
That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. So yeah, snakes of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. A phenomenal field guide, a phenomenal reference. It has illustrated picture plates as well of comparison scientific illustrations, which I think is awesome. It's right up my alley. And it does cover everything. But I mean, let's be real. The Tripoli Cat Snake, how awesome is that? That thing's too freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, and what's crazy is you have a good band of population that flows through Tunisia, and then you've got like almost 3,000 miles away in Western Sahara and Southern Morocco, some small isolated pockets. So it's just fascinating how you can totally see at some point as the Sahara turned to sand, those cousins got cut off, But the book's awesome. It covers some of the more rare species, like for example, I have a Nubian spitting cobra, the Naja nubii, and it's in the book because why not? So it's really cool, man. It's a great little book, and I know for a fact that you can buy it in the U.S. So don't be afraid that you'll have to buy it from Europe and pay the pound or the euro. I know there is a good handful of copies floating around the U.S. too. So that's my first pick.
I was actually just made aware of there's a Chondro book that got released fairly recently. I think it's a second edition of one, but it's all in German. I had someone message me on the ChondroCast account, showing it to me, and apparently it's as new as like the new Natouche paper because he talks about that in the book.
Really?
Apparently, yeah. So,
Awesome.
unfortunately, it's only in German, and I'm not about to go through and translate an entire book. But the guy said if enough people emailed the publisher asking for an English version, that I guess maybe they'd consider it. I don't know. So
we need to get a link to that publisher, and we need to spam the crap out of them with all the Snakes and Stogies people because we need that book. I'm not a Chondro guy, but I need that book.
And it wasn't terribly expensive either. I think it was like $44 or something like that. Let me look.
Nice. Mike Kosicki says, "Isn't it ironic that it seems like the Europeans breed way more species out of native reptiles than the unique ones they have?" Yeah, that's very true. Well, what I found interesting too is this book is let me find the date of this exact issue. This version. Pages are all stuck together.
Why, Phil?
Okay, yeah, so this is 2018 from Princeton University Press, which is awesome because, just trying to study up on Telescopus, I found a paper that was probably 2008, I think it was. Excuse me. So quite a few years before the book, but it is the describing, is that what we'd call it? Describing of the variation between Dahara and Dahara obtusus, or just, Telescopus obtusus, and it mentions the Tripoli rats, or the Tripoli cat snake. And I think it's one of the first papers really declaring it its thing, So I thought that was very interesting.
I'm trying to find this.
Yeah. And then Justin's up next, right?
I am.
Excellent.
So the publisher is Herpeton.
Herpeton. I've seen these books.
Yeah, and this says paperback is €22, but it is unless that's the original version. What am I doing?
Well, I just found a Herpeton convention in San Diego, California.
Yeah, no, this is different.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the publisher. Same spelling and everything as that same thing, but
okay.
Yeah, this was published in June 1st, so
of this year, 2021. Wow, all right.
142 pages. The cover has a bunch of green trees on it. So
nice, excellent. They've got to do it. They've got to do it in English. It just, I feel like it would be foolish to only publish it in German. And I know that's very smug of me to say that, but I feel like so many countries have an English-speaking population. You feel like they would make more money selling more than just the German copy.
Don't they know that America's the land of chondros? So my next book is another one that I've not taken off my shelf for a very long time. Reptiles, Amphibians, and Invertebrates: An Identification and Care Guide. And it's from Barron's. It's by Patricia Bartlett, Billy Griswold, and Dick Bartlett.
Awesome.
Concise profiles of more than 250 species, subspecies, and color morphs of reptiles, amphibians, and invertebrates. Some of you may recognize that book.
Oh, I think I've seen that.
Yeah. It's another one that I took with me to school a lot. I don't know that it's so basically, the other Barron's books, like they did the one on carpet pythons, one on rat snakes, one on it's basically
we have almost all those, right?
It's basically the species sections of those books compiled into like one book. So
excellent.
I don't know. It was one that I hadn't talked about. I also haven't flipped through it in a very long time. And I don't know. I read it a lot as a kid.
Excellent. Is it still available? Can we find it or no?
I'm sure you can. This one was 2001 is the copyright date. So
awesome.
I'm sure you could if you wanted it. I don't find it to have anything of any particular sort of major help. It's just something fun to flip through.
I would say it's probably a good rounded book for someone who wants to learn more species, learn more attributes of those species. It may be a helpful guide, opposed to clicking thousands of random scientific names on Wikipedia, like some of us have done. Scott says the Germanic herp book market is massive. And what's funny is I'm literally learning that as he wrote that, because I found it's Elke Kohler public or Herpeton Elke Kohler, and they have I would say at least 100 books in that same genre as the Chondro one. And I mean they're all reasonably priced. I mean, looking at British pound, right around 30 pounds, 32 pounds. Here's they have one on ornamentals and ornamental tarantulas, and it's $50 or 50 pounds, excuse me. So very cool. But yeah, I like those old books, man. Those the ones like it's like snakes, right? And we all had them as a kid, and I feel like those books, even as an adult and having more specific and more educated literature, it's still cool to have even those funky coffee table books that are always in the bargain section of Barnes and Noble, and like it was $100, now it's $9.95, and it's just a big coffee table book, and it has all stuff that most diehard herpers already know, but it's still cool to see it and flip through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was that one book that had it was that photographer that got bit by the black mamba, and he got a picture of it as it was biting him. Mark Leda, I think is his last name.
I don't know.
And he did a book. It was a coffee table book, and it was pictures of like venomous snakes and like really cool like Venestus on like a black background, like completely.
Really?
Black back. Yeah, just a book for a coffee table. Just pictures and stuff.
Yeah,
really cool.
Nice. Billy, you're up.
Yeah, I've wanted that Barron's Viper book for a long time and never actually bought it. I need to, just to have it.
Yeah, those Barron's books are awesome. I think I actually have that Viper book inside. I know
it, man.
So you gotta have it. I had the rat snake one, and I think I gave it away. Now I'm bummed because I wanted to read what the Baird section said, just out of curiosity.
Come to think of it, I know for a fact I have that Viper book because that was one of the first ever real herp books I bought when I was 18 and started doing venomous, because I didn't have any, I didn't know where to go in terms of literature. So that was one of the first ones I got.
You remember that B.W. Smith book about keeping venomous? Did you ever get that?
The black cover.
Yeah.
I never got it because
I had it somewhere.
This is a stupid reason, but I never got it because all my friends had it, and I must have read it front to back at least 2 or 3 times over the course of so many years, sitting at a friend's house reading it while they're cleaning snake cages, and there was a lot of stuff in there that was like kind of cringy when you think about it, but at the same time, I feel like that book did a great job of showing venomous keeping in a time when there was no YouTube and there was no
right.
visual aid like that,
Aside from the Southeastern Heart Society website.
100%. So, Billy, what's your next book? And Billy's frozen.
Is he?
Either that or he's having a stroke. Yeah, I'm going to
hear him.
He's frozen.
Should I just go again?
Oh, there. He
wait.
might be back.
Wait.
Hey, he's moving.
My back.
You did not have a stroke.
I had to move the cart around a little bit. Thank goodness.
It's like that scene in the beginning of Jurassic Park when the guy touches the cardboard cover around the monitor. He's like, "You touched it." He's like, "No, I didn't. No, you touched it."
So this was my Daytona book purchase. Phil, you might have been there with me when I got this one.
If it's the book I'm thinking of,
Snakes
yes,
of
I
India,
was.
Field Guide?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
Show
really,
how big that book is.
it's a good sized book. It's like 480 pages.
India has a lot of
Yeah.
snakes.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah. It's like over 200 endemic to India, right?
And they have all
Yeah,
the cool boiga.
shit, there's more than that.
They've got all the cool boiga, man.
So, what I think is cool is that it's pretty much like the last book. All my books are pretty much the same tonight, but just little snippets. Obviously, you know, I got it for the rat snake stuff, but it pretty much just tells you a brief description of what they are, scalation, a little bit on natural history, where they're found, and then what lookalikes they have. So, see if I can find a good one. So obviously, one I really like, trickets. You guys know I've been getting big into those, but it's cool how it has the little India continent, and then it tells you where they're found, and then stuff looks like them or could be mistaked for them, that kind of thing. And it literally does that for every time you flip a page, it's a new species. So there's freaking tons of them. So what's also cool is that it's you see how it has this green tab up here? Green?
Yeah.
So it has green for
color-coded?
non-venomous, and then it has so green's non-venomous, orange is mildly, or I'm assuming ringed, and then you have your red for your straight up venomous. And I thought this was cool because I feel like you don't see normal monocled cobras. Like, I'm not into the venomous side, but I feel like all you see is albinos, like in the hobby and stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know, I just thought it was cool actually seeing wild type ones.
Yeah.
I'm
And
sure they're
like those,
everywhere, but you know how that goes.
I like those Indian locality monocles because there's usually a good unique pattern inside the monocle. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Look at the red.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's right up your alley.
Yeah.
So when I got this book, it was kind of just like Japan. I didn't know too much about the herpetofauna that was there. Like, I knew the old world rat snakes and stuff. That's why I get most non-python books, is because the old world rat snake stuff. But just seeing all the different species and all that, it's incredible. And then they have, like, on the back cover, they have a really nice detailed map of the area, showing that stuff.
Wow.
And the next page is, all the different little towns and stuff.
Very cool.
It's a really good reference book that, if you don't know much about the area or the species that are there, you could easily thumb through this thing and learn, everything you need to know about the area, where the species are at. I just thought it was a really good reference book. And then, the pictures are really
What's the
high
actual
quality.
title of it?
You can tell the person, the guys that made this were Snakes of India Field Guide.
Seeing if I can find it on. Oh yeah, there we go. Is it by Whitaker?
Yeah.
Ah. Well, that
So,
itself,
and of course, they have.
that's a reason by itself to buy it.
It's $122.
Is there anything
And
in
of
there
course,
on Sri Lankan animals or no?
coolest. Patias, striped ones.
Very cool.
Those would be really cool to have one day.
Oh yeah.
Just more fast, bitey stuff.
Is there anything on Sri Lankan animals at all, or is it just mainland India?
It's just India.
Okay. Does it cover the Andaman Islands or no?
Just India. I was seeing what the next one was.
Does the Indian book cover the
Does it
Andaman
what?
Islands?
You went in and out.
Does it cover the Andaman Islands as well?
Pause. I'm still learning about that geography, if I'm honest with you.
Well, let me ask you this. Does it have an index of all the species or no?
Does it have Boiga andamanensis on it?
Let's see, all of them. Yeah, it does.
All right, so go to Naja.
Yeah, what am I looking for?
All right, there's two. One for me, one for Justin.
I should have known.
We'll do Justin's first.
I should have known that you wanted.
Well, I was gonna say go to B for Boiga.
There's tons of Boiga.
All right.
Yeah, it's because they're all in India.
And then all the best ones are in India. And then look for Boiga and what is it?
Andamanensis.
Andamanensis.
I think is how you pronounce it.
It should be the first Boiga. It's with an A.
It should be Andamanensis. I think it's Andaman. Unless something came out within the last week that says that's no longer a valid species.
Right.
Very possible. All right, so 2.
Yeah, it's Andamanensis.
Which Boiga?
Andamanensis.
I'm just flipping through them. Sorry, team. Yep. Boom.
Look at that.
There it is. Oh, that color. Oof. Oof.
Trying to get the glare off it.
Yeah, dude, those things are cool.
All right, so now go to Naja and then Naja sagatifera.
Look at this freaking thing.
Oh, awesome.
What's that? Oh yeah, that's the
Yeah, that's
the Gokulai.
Goku.
Yeah,
Boiga Goku.
those are freaking sweet.
Super cool.
Let's see it. There you go.
India has the coolest boy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No one can change my mind.
One of those. All right, what cobra am I looking at? Phil?
The Andaman Island cobra. It's Naja sagatifera or sagatifera.
Saggy tit for a.
Boom.
Boom! There it is. Look at the blue monocle. Oof.
Yeah.
The all-seeing eye.
Sorry, I'm trying to get a good look here for you.
Oh. That's the holy grail for Henry and I.
I'm looking it up too.
Yeah. Let me look, Henry.
Boy,
Let me see
those
what we got.
neonates look sweet.
So have I made it painfully obvious that I only looked at the rat snakes in here so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, man.
Yeah, those are cool.
Is that it, Henry? That's the only red kukri I'm seeing. This glare is terrible.
Are those Sagatifera? Those look very king-like in the head.
Yeah, they're their own monster, man. That's one of those snake species that you're blessed if you've ever seen one in person, because they do not leave those islands. They're highly coveted. They're highly protected. So,
I mean, like looking at them, they got to be on a tree. I feel like they're probably not that far apart.
Yeah, I'm sure with kings. I'm sure
the scalation looks the same almost. And
the pictures that they put in Billy's book are some of the best specimens that have ever been found. Usually, the babies are awesome. They're stellar. The adults, super ugly poop brown. It's very rare that the adults will keep those bands and even honestly keep the monocle all the way through adulthood. So, but again, only a handful of photos have been taken, and they're usually done by herpetologists that are there specifically to photograph them. So obviously they're going to get the best pictures. And there's literally zero pet rate.
And the one I texted you is the reason I say like those look like they're that sort of bridge species between kings and everything else, cobra related.
My computer is not. I don't have it yet, but as soon as I get it, I will show it. My phone got it. Oh yeah, that's a champion-looking adult, and honestly, that's probably even fairly ugly in terms of what it's capable of. You know?
Yeah, but is that scalation not the same as a king on the face?
Yeah, I always compare them more to the Ashes cobra, the Ashes head.
Yeah,
it has that bulbous head with a very blunt nose. But yeah, I could totally see, if that thing was green, it would totally be a king cobra. And the hood is more king cobra than anything else. Let me find this picture. Hold on.
No, they don't have it, Henry.
How are those kukris that you got from?
This book also has. I know we're talking about cool cobras. They look good. They like their eggs, but some of the nicest Flavolineus I've seen, like
oh yeah,
this guy here just blows me away. Absolutely blows me away. So I don't know what it is about that genus, man. They do it for me. Just with the the radiateds and those guys and the trinkets, and I wish I could get my hands on the Timors and the Philippine and all that. Like, they're just such cool snakes. So maybe one day.
Yeah, look at that animal. That thing's awesome.
If that were a corn snake, it'd be a pewter.
That's a poop brown cobra?
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, what's he looking at? Phil must be colorblind.
No, I'll find you.
That's a really cool looking cobra.
Here, give me 2 seconds. I'll find you a normal.
If Phil zoomed in on the head, you would be able to see the scalation I'm talking about. That makes it look so much like a king. I don't know why Henry hasn't piped up yet.
That's for Bill.
What is it?
Patais Caros.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's a really cool cobra.
So here's what they normally look like. That's your typical.
I don't believe you. That's an old picture.
No. What do you mean it's an old picture? What does it matter if it's old or new?
Because the pictures and photo cameras in the 70s sucked.
Oh, come on, man. That's not from the 70s.
Looks like it from here. But I'm also 5 feet from my computer. squinting pretty hard.
Here's a pretty normal one. See how they lose all the pattern as they get older?
No one cares about an xanthic cobra.
Wow. Thanks.
Damn.
The difference is
You're
that's
supposed to be
what they
feeding
look
morphs
like.
to those snakes, not making them out of them.
That's what it's supposed to look like as a juvenile. Look at the blue. I mean, you look at the monocle on this one, like just incredibly impressive. Incredibly. You know, and you look at one like this. Awesome. Absolutely.
Yeah, it looks
awesome.
like they're made of like concrete. They look like statues.
Yeah. Super cool, man. Super cool. Huh.
At least I have somebody on my side that likes the cobra food, you know?
We all like the cobra food. We do.
But do you? But do you?
Hey, man. Dude, I pulled that trinket out of that bag. Fearless. Fearless.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just full of fire and fury.
Right?
I'm telling you,
Oh,
man,
man.
it was tired from its travels.
Yeah.
That's all.
He hasn't even displayed on me, man.
Well,
Bill says he needs Ridley Eye, and I agree. So is it my go now?
yeah, it is.
Yeah. There you go. I got you. I got you, Bill. I got you a little bit.
Well, I've been having a coughing fit ever since we started this thing, so forgive me if I'm
Started smoking
muting myself.
cigarettes?
No, man, it's out of nowhere. It's like a tickle in my throat or something. It's not lung related. But I'm probably going to catch some shit for this book because this is a snakes show. This is Snakes and Stogies. But Lizards of the World by Mark O'Shea.
Is that the new one?
The newer one, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying not to get the glare.
The one before the Snakes of the World he just put out?
Yeah, this one is Lizards of the World, a guide to every family. And this one
I was actually going to bring the
2021.
snakes one tonight. That was going to be one of the ones, but if I'm being honest, it's heavy and I was feeling kind of lazy. So
It's heavy.
I like
awesome.
that book though. Like I like it because he covers a ton of species that I've never heard of or seen before. Like a bunch of those really small, weird colubrid, lapid stuff that you don't ever see anything about. And I'm assuming it's probably the same with that. With the lizards book, there's a lot of stuff in there that you just very little information is actually out about.
So I was
Bill, can you find me a sailfin, please?
Yes, absolutely. Which
Thank
sailfin?
you. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No,
Big purple one.
All of them, please.
Okay, all of the sailfins.
Go Webbers. I like Webbers.
First of all, look at this Moloch. Awesome.
Look at that. It's just the horned lizard of Australia.
So the book is not as academic as you'd expect it to be, because I think we oftentimes forget that Mark O'Shea is very, very good at laymanizing the science. The book is a very easy read. It's very catered to everybody. You know what I mean? And I really love the way that Mark writes and the way that he, puts the books together. Dakota, hold on a second. Let me find the phylogen. What's the genus name again?
Sailfin dragon. Ensis.
Billy?
Hydrosaurus.
Hydrosaurus.
Check your messages, Bill. I sent you some stuff.
All right, I got to go to the index because I'm not seeing it in this section chapter thing. Are they in the iguana complex or are they in the was it Anglomorpha, right? I'll be honest, I will be very upset if there's no sailfins in this book. I find that would be really hard to do. Glossary. Okay. The actual index. The show just became boring.
Wow.
H.
Well, in the meantime,
Hydrosaurinae. 174.
see what else.
There you go. Huh.
Look at that. That's a big old sailfin.
There it is. How cool would it be to have like a 5-foot freaking dinosaur like that? That would be so cool to me.
It would be awesome. And just like the other field guides we were talking about, it covers distribution, type of habitat, size, activity, reproduction, and it gives little, cliff notes. It gives a little map of where they hail from, and I just thought it's a great book. And just to go like with the Barron's book that Justin spoke about, I feel like this is a definitively a 21st century version book like that, where someone who wants to learn about lizards on a herpetoculture level, or just more than a normal hobbyist, this is a great book to learn about all the different types of lizards and a stepping stone to more academic type stuff. And it was $30.
I want to know how long it takes him to freaking put those together, because that Snakes book is huge.
Well, see, this is not. I don't think this is the same as that Snakes book, because I mean it's not that thick.
It's not. Yeah, that's not
it's
nearly
not
as thick as a Snakes book. But I
Right.
like flipping through that. I remember when I first got it, and it's like, good God, like how much time did it take to not even just the information itself, but like physically putting it all together and laying it out, and like the range maps, and getting decent photographs that are print worthy, and like just unbelievable. Just it blows my mind.
Yeah, I imagine it takes a very long time, and I imagine that when you're someone like Mark, it's not your first rodeo, so you're gonna pull maps and notes and everything that you have from other pieces of literature that you've written. So I feel like for someone who is just coming out of the gate saying, you know what, I'm gonna make a book of lizards of the world, I feel like that would be a multi-year, if not multi-decade project. Or someone like Mark, who's been publishing, herpetofauna literature for decades, I feel like it'd be a little easier for him to compile,
Still, just the sheer amount of having to go through those notes. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure he has real interns,
Yeah, Mike Kosicki brought up a good point. He said he seems to give almost less information on the common species and more on the rare ones, which I would agree with. Like I said, that Snakes book has a lot of species I had never even heard of. Stuff that I'm sure a lot of people have never heard of or even knew existed, and a lot of it's Asian stuff. And I think there's some African stuff too that I was just completely unfamiliar with. But But that's why I appreciate it so much. It's like there's, it's not just sort of this is what you're going to find when you go to, Southeast Asia. It's like, no, I'm going to show you everything, whether you will probably see it or not,
Good shit.
Is it my turn?
Good shit. Yeah, I think it is.
So this one I'll make a twofer because they go hand in hand, and because yes, this is snakes and stogies, but these two will also not be snake related, but it is the tarantula and other arachnids and scorpions Barron's books.
Nice.
Both of these I also carried around as a kid.
That's
a
awesome.
lot. The scorpions one I think is my favorite, just because look at that freaking isometrist dude on the inside, man. That's a species I always wanted and never got my hands on.
Oh yeah, and that green leaf, awesome.
Yeah, so really cool. I don't see when this one was published because the other one, the Pythons one, is published in like '97, so I can't imagine this one's too terribly far off. But I could be wrong. It doesn't even say, unless it's in the back now. 2008. So, yeah.
What's funny is I have a Baron scorpion book, and I think it's like keeping and breeding scorpions in captivity or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not. What is that? A Parabuthus on the cover?
No, it looks like some sort of Centroides, maybe a Gracilis or something.
Okay, so the one that I have, I'm pretty sure it's a Arizona Hairy on the cover.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's a different edition or a different book.
God, those
But
Isometris maculatus, man, those are so freaking cool.
oh yeah, dude, the digital camo,
Ugh.
the digital
Picture,
camouflage look.
there's another picture of one in here that makes me want them so bad. You know what species I've always wanted just because they look like fun and like no one cares about them is the those Carolina devil scorpions, the ones we have here in the upstate.
Yeah, the Vihovis of North Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah, those are upstate, and I've always wanted some. And apparently Casey has them. They're up his way all the time. We don't get them down here on the coast for some reason. Like they do seem to do better in the cooler environments. That always looked like a fun species. Just something cool that it's because it's native. I don't know.
Yeah, I always found that's another species I found fascinating because you have these Vihovis in Georgia, South Carolina, Southern North Carolina, and then you have nothing all the way up until the New Mexico-Arizona border, and it's a completely different, habitat and everything. Very little water, very little rainfall, very high heat. It's very interesting to see how. Because, you look at like Centroides gracilis, right? From Georgia all the way through the Florida Keys, it's the same bug, it's the same critter, living in a fairly tropical ecosystem. And then you see the exact same species in Central America. And again, it's still a tropical environment. But when you look at the Vihovis in North Carolina, South Carolina, and you look at the Vihovis in Arizona, you're like, how did this work?
Yeah, this book's awesome. It's talks about breeding. It talks about your different kinds, like your tropical species versus your desert species, and sort of your more temperate stuff. And North American species talks a lot about Centroides, which is another one of my favorite genre of scorpions. There's all kinds of stuff in here, so it's definitely worth it if you're into inverts or especially scorpions. This should definitely be in the old library. And then tarantulas. This one. When was this one put out? Guess we're putting all that information in the back of the books now. This one was 2001. Prior edition was 1996. So another good one. If you're into tarantulas and stuff, it's pretty cool. I don't think it's as good as a scorpion book, just in terms of like the information and stuff provided, but there's also a lot more in terms of tarantulas and stuff in the hobby than I think there are scorpions as far as sheer species, like number of species goes.
Yeah, I've often wondered that. Is there more scorpions than there is spiders.
As far as people keeping them, I think so.
Oh yeah, I would. No, see, I would argue that. I really would. I feel like there's way more tarantula species in the pet trade than there is scorpion species.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So grab those.
Yeah.
Hawks probably could get a few.
There you go. Yeah, you guys. That's at the very far western part of their range, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Well, Billy, what do you got at bat?
So, it's funny because it's like the same species as the India book, but I had to get it because I've wanted it for a while. Another field guide. Field guide Snakes of Borneo.
Yes, look at that cover.
That cover.
Oh, look at that.
Nice blood.
Bronger Schmack.
So it's another. So it's just another, description, distribution, scalation, just real little snippets of each species. Nothing too super in depth, but it's just cool to see what's out there. Like one of my favorite pictures in here is of this bronzeback, actually, that I didn't know was a thing, but I don't know if you guys can see him or not.
Oh man, that's killer.
This with the blue and the red. Yeah, it's a, what's that? Copstines? No.
Copstine.
But it's I don't know much about bronzebacks, so just being able to find new species and stuff, it's cool to see different things that are different from what you're used to. And one day, one of the species I really want to work with, the Carnata, which is such a cool, it's just cool to see them, with wild pictures and the different looks, because I've gone through enough of, the ones from Malaysia and the ones from Indo and the ones, from Borneo and all that. It's just cool to see the different looks from the different areas, especially for different species. So the one in India had a lot of stuff from, Colignathus and stuff. So you could see that's what the Flavolineus looks like from there, as opposed to those really Goldens from India, where there's your cave racer guys.
Yeah.
That looks more like a classic Grabowski than a Ridley eye to me.
Do you think it's a case of
I don't know what you guys think, but no, because so I've talked to most about this a little bit. The Grabowski that's coming in right now, the stuff from Sumatra and stuff. They look green. Maybe that's just what they look like from that area. But historically, the Grabowski that you see in a lot of older pictures, they look like a cross between a Ridley eye and a Blue Beauty, and they had no pattern. So they didn't have that green look. But it's not out of the realm of possibilities of having, the green look that we're seeing getting in now. So who knows?
Is
and of course everybody's favorite.
Oh yeah.
You guys see that?
Oh yeah. Gonyopus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to
Where's
beat
Dan
those.
Colgan?
Yeah, right. There's just such cool species, man. You know, it's cool to see what's out there, what overlaps and what doesn't overlap, and you know, it's kind of got to the point where you like the species, and then you want to learn about you know, the different areas that they come from, and you know, it's you see stuff that's super wide ranging. Like I look a lot into radiated rats, and just to see the different looks in the different areas that they come from. Same with Pataeus and stuff. Really good book, just another reference book, just like the other ones that I've shown tonight. But if you're interested in the species, you know, in Borneo, definitely a good buy, good addition to the library, like you know the other two.
Does it talk about any of the snakes in Brunei, or is it just like is it the whole island of Borneo with Brunei included, or is it just you know Indonesian Borneo?
Believe Indonesian Borneo.
Okay,
From my
still
understanding.
awesome, very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you guys.
Oh, awesome! Look at that. It's an Asian Transpecos.
Yeah, that's a really nice specimen. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's cool too, like going through different field guides and stuff and seeing, like, you see all these different snakes that are, you know, native to those areas, and then you see what ended up being established in the hobby, and it's, you know, when you really start thinking about it, it's more okay when they came in initially and people cared, they only cared about this species but not that species, and then they just stopped bringing them in, or they just, you know, or the ones that were brought in ended up dying. So it is interesting to see like all the different what's it at? You know, like there's a lot of Boega I've never seen before, but I'm not super into Boega either. You know, but with how popular it is, it's crazy that all of these species aren't around, you know, in the hobby, or if they are, I just don't know about it.
Yeah, it also
And then like
makes you think about,
you know, the tree snakes and stuff.
it also makes you think about it. Did it come here and didn't do well for one reason or another, or in the case of you know a lot of times it's the animals that the field collectors would bring in are stuff that's easy to find or close to where they live, and some of this stuff is so remote that it just never was caught because it's a project to get it back to civilization to ship it out, you know.
Yeah, there's tons of variables, you know, that go into what we ended up having. I mean, I find it interesting because it's like, why did, you know, this species of, why did mangroves become as popular as they are? But, you know, there's, what is it? You know, but these guys, you know, the pale spotted cat snakes, why, you know, you think those would be sought after, you know?
It's because we can't get them, man.
You get what I'm saying, though. I mean, obviously things came from somewhere. So,
Yeah, it's very true.
I don't know. It's just interesting. You know, because I mean, at one point it was just a free for all. It was just, hey, if you can get it, you can bring it over. You know, it's crazy how like it really mattered on when they came in and what time and who was around to establish them. You know, like who cared enough to establish that species and how we ended up with what we have. You know, for now.
Wait, you said white spotted cat snake?
Let me pull it up again.
Because that's Drapezia, and those are not terribly
Pale
hard to get.
spotted.
Let's see.
Yeah, You looking it up, or?
Yeah, Trapezii.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are
those
those
are. I mean,
around?
those are.
I'm not.
They
I
are.
don't really follow Boyega that much.
They're not kept as much as some of the other species in the States. They're one of the more specialized feeders, from what I understand. But yeah, I mean, they're around.
Well, you get what I'm saying, though.
Yeah. No,
it's interesting how certain species had, like, if the right person likes a certain species enough, it doesn't matter if it's a specialized feeder or they need specific husbandry or whatever, they'll make it happen.
freaking Cyanea females gotten so damn big, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Philip.
Yes, my turn.
Is he back?
I'm back.
Right.
So,
I think you're up, Phil.
Yes, it pains me to say that I haven't had a single moment. Life's been very, very hectic lately for me, and I haven't had a single moment to open this book. But this is literally, when I have time to open a book in the near future, this is the first book I'm going to open. I talked about it last week on Snakes and Stogies. The African and Middle Eastern burrowing asps and their allies.
I love how they say allies like it's some sort of world war or something.
Yeah, at first I was like, man, maybe there's like a relationship between them. And it's like,
It's awesome.
No, it's just similar species, It is a white cover edition Chimera. So these are intended more so for academics opposed to more of a hobbyist level. That being said, it's not overly sciencey. It's very readable. And it covers every aspect of stiletto snakes and their relatives.
How many species are there?
I think they're up to 14, I think. Let me check. Excuse me. So let me get to this here. Yeah, I mean, it covers basic biology, medically important toxins indicative of Atractaspis subspecies, characteristics of envenomation, basic biology, management of envenomating, which I'm interested to read that. And then the lack of antivenom and theoretical potential value in the pharmaceutical world. Let me see about actual species. You'd assume there'd be some kind of list. Hold on, let me go back. We'll do it this way. Because now I'm genuinely curious. All right, so you're looking at... Talks about centipede snakes, which I'm sure Bill will want to read up as well. Okay, what is this? This is Lepidopsosis. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So this book is saying there's 22 independent species. And it appears that none of them are subspecies. So I don't know if that has been a splitting of sorts. It would assume to me that it's been a splitting of sorts. But for all I know, they could be vastly different. So,
well, Bill Bradley has clued us into why they use the word allies. And he says, according to Google, an alliance is an informal grouping used in biological taxonomy. The term alliance is not a taxonomic rank defined in any of the nomenclature codes. It is used for any group of species, genre, or tribes to which authors wish to refer that have at some time provisionally been considered to be closely related.
Oh, okay. All right. So let me find you some of the goods.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill.
Everyone wants to see. Yeah, thank you very much for that. That was
He's on
extremely
point.
helpful.
Yeah, he is.
It's the beard, man.
It is.
It's too majestic.
So here's
The cool Bill.
Here's a picture that I find incredibly interesting. This is of Engaldenensis, which is in Israel. So the top picture is an adult specimen, and the bottom picture is a freshly dissected venom gland with the duct, the fang mechanism for the stiletto blade or the stiletto tooth, and then the actual fang itself.
Good God.
And I'm pretty sure they did this comparison picture so you could see the length in which that gland runs.
Yeah. That's almost like the Malaysian blues almost.
Yeah, I mean, nowhere near as long.
Not nearly as long, but still similar.
Very similar. Very, very impressive. And I think it's really cool that they did the dissection with the gland and the duct and the fang and all that. So, but yeah, I'm really excited about this book. So, I mean, here's them milking them.
God, Theris Nishii make me feel funny in my pants.
So yeah, I tried to. This is a book that I poo-pooed for a while, and I was like, "Oh, I'll buy it later. Oh, I'll buy it later. Oh, I'll buy it later." And then I was like, "You know what? No, it's time to do it. I'm on a kick," and I go to buy it. It's out of stock everywhere. So I actually bought this. It's brand new, but it was from a bookstore in London, and I had it shipped, so it took a little bit of time. But it's about $100, give or take. It'd probably be a little cheaper if you found it in the US, but it is out of print. So if you're interested, try and grab one while you can. You know. So, yep. Well,
all right.
Smitty, do you have any
So
more?
my next one is also. I'll do this last one. How about that? The other two are kind of dumb and irrelevant, but this one actually has some sort of kind of a backstory to it because this is the book that got me hooked on carpets when I was but a boy. And it is Snakes That Are Care and Keeping by Lenny Flank Jr. So. And then this is the picture that I remember seeing that got me wanting carpets really bad. So. No. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Look at that. It's a classic looking carpet. That's perfect.
I just remember seeing that as a kid, and I had to have one. And I think it wasn't terribly long after that I found one at a flea market in Charleston that was being sold by, what was the guy's name? Alan Bosch,
Okay.
who used to be partners with Bill Albright back in the day.
Yes.
So if you're in the area, so he had a booth at a flea market in Charleston that we used to frequent when I was a kid as well, and they had a carpet, and seeing that carpet made me want one even more. And I don't remember if I actually bought that one or if I ended up getting one from somewhere else, but I remember that picture. Just for whatever reason, I don't know, it stuck out to me, and it made me want one really bad. And this was published in 98, so. But it's pretty interesting. It's got evolutionary history, basic biology, ecology, taxonomy, choosing a snake, housing your snake, handling your snake, feeding, reproduction, healthcare, legal protection and conservation, herpetological education, snakes and human culture, snake bite, and then conclusion. So it's pretty cool. I liked it.
Very cool.
It's got a lot of good pictures in it.
That's awesome.
So that was the one that sort of lit the fire for carpet pythons.
Yeah, man. Eli says he needs to find some. Eli says he needs to find some flea markets like that.
Yeah, this one was in Charleston, man.
I think if Bill Albright and him had a booth at a flea market, I imagine it would just be like vending a show. But then, like, I think of like the flea markets by me before they banned baby turtles and like all the little death cups and everything, you know.
Got my first year of Mastix from there too.
Nice.
Right.
What species?
His name was Douglas. I don't remember. It was brown.
Brown.
But they weren't partners in the flea market. They ended up being partners like later on, I think. But Alan Bosch had a booth there for so
cool.
He has since gotten out of reptiles, from what I understand, and lives somewhere out west, like North Dakota or something weird like that.
Oh, okay.
He was a big ball python guy too. So.
Yeah.
Got my first Pituovis from him too.
Oh, nice. Billy, you're up.
And Scott said Lenny Flank wrote the worst book of venomous husbandry ever written. So same author of that last book that inspired me so much. Yeah.
Well, your book wasn't venomous. So there you go.
Billy is... There he is. I don't even know who Lenny Flank is, honestly. That's the only book that I've seen that that has been written. But now I'm going to look.
Billy, you ready?
Yeah. So, kind of switching off the old world stuff. So since I like everything, and I'm getting into boas, I got the Natural History of Neotropical Tree Boas. I got this last year in Daytona.
Nice.
Yeah, it's thick too. So it covers the whole genus of Corallus, but it focuses a little more on Granatus than anything else. And it is, I mean, the pictures are just insane. Just insane.
So talk about
it literally goes through
Cropani or Cropani.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, a little bit. I'll see if I can find a picture. But it's literally all natural history. It's not there's no captive stuff in here at all. It is, let's see. It's like 100 or 350 pages. Tons of pictures, high quality, and literally every type of look you can think of. How they hunt, how they forage, what they do during the different seasons, all the different, looks and stuff. Because I mean, tree boas are just incredibly variable. Just crazy variability. Of course, they got emerald stuff in here. All the different Portolana stuff and all that. But it's it's definitely worth checking out if you're into tree boas at all. There you go. There's a headshot for you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Look at those pits, man.
Yeah, they're the real deal. And just it's basically like, let's say you let's see. Like, this is a cool picture. It says they made an artificial nest, and they ended up finding that tree boa in it. So just, different ideas they came up with to try to catch specimens, and not always have to go look for them and stuff. But it's basically 300 some odd pages of paper that you would find. Like it's all data. Like just here. Factors affecting nocturnal activity. So they talk about rainfall, the moon phase, temperature, seasonal variations. Like, it goes through all that kind of stuff. Oh man. Booth has a bunch of rushies. That's not good for me to know.
Dude, yeah, that's like top of my list as far as any corrals goes. Like, basins are cool and all, man, but there's something about Rushis, especially the ones with the high black, that just, maybe it's because they're like the Jansen eye of the tree boas, just in terms of that sort of color palette. I just, man.
Yeah. I honestly, I think they're, I gotta say, it's probably annulateds before rushies for me. I mean, they're all cool. I mean, I'd love just tree boas in general, man. They're cool snakes, man. They really are.
I don't see that book on.
All right, so apparently me and Warren are going to be talking here soon. He's being very subtle on what he has.
Look, that animal. Did I see that? And all I think of is just Atheris, ceratophora. Like, it's like a South American ceratophora. It's awesome.
Matilde.
Yeah. I really enjoy the ones I have, or the Amazons I have. I'm slowly getting back into them. And arboreal snakes in general are just really awesome. So, with all the variability and all the different colors and patterns and this and that. And
I love the cover photo.
It's a hobby in
book
itself,
too.
Honestly.
Because I love when they get the shots of the tree boas like that, because they look like freaking Predator. Yeah, when it like spreads its freaking 4 mandibles out.
Yeah.
That is on Amazon right now, and it is $70.
So I find
that is less than I paid for this one.
That I find it interesting that that's a edition Chimera. It's a black cover book, but it's mostly paper, like scientific papers and stuff. Is there any husbandry aspects in the book? Does it have like a section on breeding? Does it have a section on like cage setup and enclosure setup?
So maybe I kind of described it wrong. It's not so much a paper as in that's kind of more the information they're giving, to where it's more like graphs and what the temperatures are, and it's all natural history. Like, it literally goes into everything that they went into studying. There's trying to look like in the back to see if there's actually any stuff. Yeah, there's really no like, this is how you keep them. That's how you do it. I mean, there's a couple of pictures like this one. It says, "Hey, it's a birth that's happening in captivity." That's really the only thing that
and look
I can remember in this book that
crazy.
And they're And the caption on this photo is basically, just showing that the neonate is orienting upwards, saying, how arboreal they are, and saying that's their nature, right when they're, born. Hey, let's go straight up. I will definitely be buying the complete tree boa when that gets done. That's amazing. I didn't know that was happening. That's insane. Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait for that now.
What about kaleidoscopic tree
really
boa?
cool book. Different.
Was that just dropped
What's that?
first on Snakes and Stogies?
I don't think so.
No,
that's the first I'm hearing of it, but I don't have my ear to the ground on tree boa stuff.
That is true.
There's another book from '96 called Kaleidoscopic Tree Boas, and I'm wondering if Warren.
I have that one too.
On that one.
Yeah, I have that one too. I might also have the other one he was talking about. Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, both of those are on Amazon right now. 160, 170, and I'm resisting the urge to buy them.
Tree boas are cool. I know a lot of people are more. I know a lot of people have had them and then decide they're just not for me type of thing. But if you end up trying them out and they end up being your thing, they're really cool captives, and they're just as than the carpets. So I think that's why I'm drawn to them. Of course, the bright colors and stuff. And, and like I said before, arboreal snakes are just awesome in general. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a handful of Hortulanus over the years, and I do like them. I'm at a point now where keeping them, I don't really have much of a desire, but they'll always be sort of one of the first loves in a sense. Especially with that, there was an issue of Reptiles years and years and years ago, like early 2000s, that had a picture of a garden phase on the cover that I don't know how many times. It was by Mike Heinrich. He was big in the Amazons at one point years and years ago. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe Warren knows, but he had he was head of a forum. He had wrote the articles in Reptiles and all kinds of stuff.
Very cool. Very, very cool. You got something else you're going to throw up, Billy? You look like you're skimming pages appropriately.
Hang on. That one? Smitty?
Yes.
Yeah, you said that, and I just happened to just get that issue at a local show because it had the tree boa
what year
centerfold
was
and stuff. So.
Was that like 01?
Yep, February 01. Yeah.
That's crazy you remember that, Justin.
Dude, I literally carried that issue with me to school. I don't know how many, like literally until the cover fell off. Like there was a handful of issues of Reptiles, in the early 2000s like that I read them so much and flipped through them so much that they were falling apart physically.
That's what I did with the Pituophis issue in the early 2000s.
The one with all the
enamored with those snakes,
all the different
reason.
kinds on it. It was like an orange cover and it had the different heads and stuff of them. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one? Yeah.
I lost the cover. It's just like the cover's gone. I don't know where it went, but I have the rest of it. Yeah, we're old guys apparently, guys.
Wow. We're reading about these things before I was even born.
Oh, that's
Warren
crazy.
said Mike Heinrich got out and went anti-hobby, he believes, which is kind of surprising because he was going hard in the paint on Hortulanus, man.
Yeah. I believe there's a whole story behind that for another time. But yeah, he's not in the hobby anymore.
I don't know. He was the guy for a long time. And then after a while I kind of got out and came back and he was
when the Amazon Alliance was around and all that. Yeah. So, all right, you shared everything you got?
You're muted.
Yes, I
You're
am.
muted, Phil.
So now that I can speak again, I only took out 3 books because I like Justin. I don't have that big of an
I'm running out. Yeah.
Well, I'm nowhere near running out. I mean, there's probably 100 hurt books in there, maybe less, maybe 75.
I don't have anywhere near that many.
But I don't want to just pull any book. You know, it's got to be Snakes and Stogies worthy books. You know?
They're all worthy,
Billy,
man.
That's true. Billy, what do you got up with that now?
All right. I'll go quick because I know we're over 2 hours, so I don't want to get too crazy. I want to highlight a book I've already highlighted again, but it's like the more I dig into it, the more information I'm finding. It's freaking Old World Rat Snake book, man.
How did I know? Like, stop bringing that out. I can't find it anywhere. God damn it!
I can't not bring it out.
I want it so bad, and I can't get it.
Dude, it's just, there you go. You like that picture? It's incredible, man. And what I did, how much of a nerd I am, is they got this back section. 40 years of husbandry and breeding, different rat snakes and stuff. And it literally just gives you charts of the different animals, what you kept them at, what you breed them at, what you incubate them at, how many clutches they have. I don't know how well it's coming out, but there's all this quick information that, it took so long to come out with, and then, your more temperate stuff out there. Just, this whole book is just absolutely insane. Like they got a whole thing on rhinos. There's a whole thing on the snakes of Taiwan.
There's a copy available in Switzerland, and it's it's used, and it's with shipping. It's $124, but I have no way of knowing if it's English or not.
Yeah, I got really lucky. So before Klaus passed, unfortunately.
No, this says English.
Before he passed, Most was able to bring in a shipment, and he put a post about it. And I think I messaged him like an hour after he posted it, and he was like, "Yeah, you got like one of the last ones." So I just got really lucky. I actually got it's actually a signed copy too. So that's
man,
that's awesome.
That's even cooler.
That's awesome.
But I honestly have been looking for this book for a really long time, and I know I've already covered it before, but if you are into old world rats in any capacity and you come across this, even if it has a 100 plus price tag, it's worth it, guys. It literally has it just has a whole bunch of stuff on every species. There's your Jansenite stuff. There's that.
Stop it, Billy.
That whole thing. Buddy, you got a buddy that's got it. I can screenshot it, and look, they got the black ones too.
Wow, now that is impressive.
Oh yeah.
Like, they were impressive before. Then you look at that.
So,
it's like,
so
is the whole snake black, or is it reversed where the tail is lightly colored?
No, it's all black. So funny story about that. I actually had a chance to buy one about 8 years ago, when I first got my first Ganyos. And I was ready to send the guy money, and I guess it was when Facebook groups were just starting up, and right before I went to pay him, he went, "Hey man, I just posted this thing in a group, and I didn't realize what I had, and I'm not going to sell it to you for that now." And he ended up like quadrupling the price, and someone else bought it, and I was like, I was that close to having an all black freaking Ganyo, but
Damn.
you know, that's how it goes.
What a shame.
So, that's all I have for books. I did bring. I won't do that. It's late. I won't do that.
Whoa. You can't tease us like that. You can't say, "Oh, I have a surprise," but I can't tell you. Come on.
It's not a surprise. It shows how nerdy I am.
Let's see it. I'm putting you on full screen for this one.
I just got word that Ackies are shipping tomorrow.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Congrats.
Spiny lizards inbound.
I checked the hotspot today. It's 164.
164? Is that
obscene?
Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
Yeah. I feel like I should just put them in the oven.
That's
Have you watched the Dave Kaufman video? Are we keeping them correctly?
Yes, twice.
It's actually really cool. Yeah, that's a really good video. He did good with that one and the Cave Racer one.
Which, speaking of all black, apparently he said in that video there's an island population of Ackies that are all black.
Really?
That's really cool.
Like somewhere off the coast of Darwin, like that northern section.
Wow.
Dude, a mini like black dragon, how cool is that? With a spiny tail?
Amazing.
That'd be so awesome. How is that not everywhere?
I don't know. I'm looking to see.
That's like the one you would smuggle. Yeah, that's the one you would smuggle. Like that's why are they doing that?
Well, dude, Marcus and I have been trying to find Cordillus niger for 10 years now, and there's none anywhere because the only ones that ever got to Europe are all smuggled, and those people aren't going to give them up, and now they're protected in their natural range. But dude, that is literally like that's your jet black, glossy black Ackie, but South African. One day.
That's awesome.
One day.
All right, so I've gone on my little rant on saying if you're interested in a species, to look up papers, look up everything you can. So I've started doing that. Right? You see where I'm going with this, Phil?
I see 100% where you're going with this.
I'm not gonna go crazy with it, but so far this is what I've come up with. I really hate having just relying on digital copies. So I'll actually each binder is a different thing. Like this white one is all Ganyo stuff. So I have those papers, the whole Ganyo.org stuff from Freightas. Because I had all that information when it was on Freight's website, and then he took it down, and I lost all that information. So once it came up again, and I forget who's running the website now, but he was able to take all that info and put it on that website, which thank goodness he did. I decided to make physical copies.
I saved it all as a Google Doc too, like all the text from that site as well, just because you never know when these sites are gonna go away and never come back. Like some people just get tired of paying for the domains and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Never come back.
So I'm old school in the fact that I want a physical copy.
Yeah, tangible document.
Yeah, so this one is all old world stuff. So that's a big old Taiwan. This is a 16-page Taiwan beauty, paper that talks about natural history, keeping them, breeding them, all that stuff. And just different things I've found, everywhere. Bill, if you're still watching, this is the stuff I'll send you. Trinket stuff. the old Rat Snake Foundation information that used to be out there. There's just so much information. So I know I've said it a few times, so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. I know I've told people at shows like, yeah, I print out papers and all that, and like this is my and this one's like the boa and python one. So there's just tons of stuff.
Yeah, I just been saving them in a folder and then on a Google Drive. Like Google Drives are free, and you get like 15 gigs for free. So even if you don't go as far as printing them out, you can still flip. Thumb drives are cheap. Google Drives free. Whatever, you know.
I did all that and I lost it, so I don't trust it. I want to I have that, but I also have my physical copies. So I think that's where I'm more old school than anything. Where I have to have it in my hand.
Yeah,
it takes up more space, but.
I was actually just talking to someone on Instagram about taking a scientific paper that is in another language like French or German. And what you can do is I'm sure there's an app that you could download or a program you could upload. But on the iPhone specifically, you have the speak feature. So a lot of times what I'll do is, and you don't even have to use a speak, you use Google Translate if you want. What I'll do is I will screenshot the page of the PDF, right? And I'm screenshotting the PDF, and then I'll take that photo image and I'll upload it to Google Translate in the appropriate language. And then on Google Translate, you can upload the picture and highlight, what you want to be quote unquote translated, and it will translate it. And then at the same time, if I'm driving or whatever, I can have Apple Speak, and it will literally read it to me in English. Now, granted, some of the translation doesn't always make sense because certain languages put certain phrases in front of others, but it's a great way to gain that extra little bit of knowledge on a paper that's only in Italian or only in German, So
I don't know where Billy finds all these papers though, because Billy also sent me a really nice Elafe bimaculata paper the other day that he found, and I don't know where he digs this stuff up, but
I'll never tell.
He's good at it.
Yeah. There's a lot of websites that you have to pay, and there's a lot of websites that you have to be in academics. And then there's a lot of websites that's just public knowledge, and that's some of the best stuff.
I think Google Scholar is a big one, right? I've never actually used it, but I've heard that's a good one.
What paper is that, Billy?
This is the one from the Barkers in the early to mid 90s on the Lesser Sundas. Nice. And it literally goes through, everything, and they actually bred them. Like they have, actually produce them and stuff. I don't care if it's a super old paper or not. Like I'll still print it out. Like there's one I want to find that actually I got a lot out of. This, if I could find it. There we go. I'll just show you the cover page, but this is from the 80s, and it's all about breeding Maclots. And they basically just chronicled, 10 years of breeding Maclots and what worked and what didn't work. And I pretty much just read this thing and, applied what I could in my setup, and I ended up being, fairly successful this year with them. Hopefully I can replicate that, but it's just, if you look in the right places, like I haven't paid for any subscriptions or anything. If you just have patience and you find the right websites, like there's tons of journals. I've come across British journals, Russian journals. If you're a monitor guy, there's this monitor publication that's insane. BioWalk, I think it's called, BIWAK. That's like I don't know if you guys have heard of that or not, but just insane. Like if you take the time to really dig into like information, there's so much information out there. You can find anything on anything. Like I took a screenshot of just a Pataeus Kuros paper I found, and I sent it to Bill, and he was like, "Where did you find this?" You know, and just some patience, and that stuff will come up. So, like I see stuff on indigos and cottonmouths, and all of our native stuff all the time. That stuff's everywhere. So.
I also think that it's some of the websites that are you have to pay or you have to be in the academics to read them. They'll still let you read the abstract, which in itself could be helpful, or it can at least tell you if you really want to pursue even reading the real journal. Because some of them are like, this is how it poops, and we know that it poops because brown stuff comes out. Like some of them are really boring. But for the most part, at least it'll give you an idea of what the paper's about, and you can figure out if you want to pursue it or not.
Well, that's how I found most of the papers that I put in the magazine group was just going through that, just stuff that I thought was interesting. Like the Irregularis paper I found was I really like. I don't have any interest in Irregularis, but that paper itself with how they kept them in buckets and how they were trying to figure out which prey they would like and all that. It was just really interesting. And, you can apply that to different arboreal snakes. It's not just that particular snake. So it's really cool. But I found a lot of different journals that you may have to pay to get a subscription to like do the, get the most up-to-date one, but you can go into the archive and gosh, some of them go back to the 80s. And I mean, information is information. And if they're doing 4 journals a year, they started in 85 and now it's going to 2020, 2021. Like that's a lot of information you can go through and find different species that you care about. So that's all I do. Found cool stuff. So.
Nerd.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm probably going to do something very similar to those binders because I really like that. So.
Sorry if I misspoke on the Irregularis or Insularis.
Well, gentlemen, we're at 2:27. Any closing remarks?
I think I've said enough.
Nope.
Justin?
I got nothing.
All right, folks. Don't forget to check out the fine people, the Gendra of the Pacific Northwest, Puget Sound pythons.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Hunt them down. Follow them. They won't lead you astray.
No, they will not. Mr. Billy Hunt, a pleasure as always.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for bringing awesome books.
We'll be back
Thursday.
Thursday.
Run low, so.
THP 138.
138. Wow.
It's cranking them out, man. It's awesome. Keep it going. Keep it all going.
Yeah, Smitty, five more episodes, man. What are we going to do?
I know. We got to figure something out.
Got to be something.
We'll brainstorm. We got time.
We got time. Yeah. Well,
could just be a big sluts party again.
Yeah, right? We could do that.
Could be.
Could be.
Throwing it out there.
Well, folks, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting.
Everybody have a great evening.
Bye.
Good morning, good day, whatever it is. If you're listening to this, post live.
Yes. What's that rhyme? It's like thank you and have a good evening, good day, and good. I don't know. I'll find it for next week. Good night.